Hello guys, once again. Today we are doing coefficients and variables in mathematics. I'm going to explain mostly on coefficients and variables on this topic. It's a continuation from our previous topic where I was explaining about directed numbers and the types of numbers. So for today we have to understand what are coefficients and what are variables in O-level mathematics. So let's get started, guys. So basically at O-level maths, you are going to be encountering scenarios such as you find 2x. So at this stage, what you're supposed to understand is what is this 2 and what is that x. So what you have to understand here is that this 2 is the coefficient of x and this x is the variable. What do I mean if I talk of a variable? Later on, as you will be doing equations, different types of equations, you will be asked to determine the values of these variables. That's why we call them variables, because they don't have a specific value. They have different values. Okay, guys. The other thing that you're supposed to understand with these coefficients, most of the cases you will find a variable standing on its own. For instance, you may find x standing on its own. So in order for you to really indicate that you are now at an ordinary level, you have to understand that this variable already have a coefficient even though it's not written, and the coefficient is always 1. So in this case there is a 1 there is an imaginary 1. So under normal circumstances, especially later on as you will be solving equations, you will find such scenarios that will force you to put down this one in order for you to proceed with your workings. Okay, now what you have to understand, there are some concepts that I want you to appreciate as I proceed explaining about these coefficients and variables. Basically, you find such circumstances where you will be asked to, it's either add, subtract, multiply, or divide these coefficients with their variables. Now, I want to give you some basic ideas based on such coefficients and variables, especially considering addition and subtraction. When you're asked to do addition and subtraction, there is what we call like terms. If I talk of like terms, I'm talking of similar terms that you will be given and asked to compute some mathematical calculations. For instance, let me give you this first example. (2x plus 3x plus 2y). In this case, guys, what you are supposed to understand is that we have got two like terms here, and this is an unlike term. Therefore, you are going to add 2 plus 3, so that's 5x. And this coefficient, there's nothing that you do with this coefficient if you're doing is either addition or subtraction. Then this one is an unlike term, so you're going to leave it as plus 2y. This is your answer. You would have expressed here. The question would have to ask maybe saying express this in its simplest form, right? Then let's do an example for subtraction. You may find 5xy plus 2x minus 3xy plus 7. Fine. At this stage, we are supposed to collect our like terms, and in this case, our like terms is 5xy and 3x and negative 3xy. Therefore, I'm going to say equals 5x y minus 3xy plus 2x plus 7. So what you have to understand here is, as you proceed, you just have to subtract this 5 and 3. There's nothing that you are going to do with these variables. So at this stage, your final answer will be is equal to 5 minus 3, that's 2. So we're going to have 2xy. Then these are also unlike terms, so we're going to take them as they are. So it's plus 2x plus 7. That's your final answer. That's your final answer. Okay, guys, these are the concepts based on addition and subtraction. So let me try to divide here and move on to multiplication and division of these coefficients and variables. I want you to understand the main difference between these two concepts. The first one is for addition and subtraction. The second one is for multiplication and division. The basic idea is, if you are doing is either addition or subtraction, we have to consider like terms. But it's different with this other instance. While we are doing multiplication and division, we don't have to consider it's either those like terms or whatsoever. We just have to compute our calculations. So I'm going to start with multiplication. So the first example is 2x times 3xy. So the first thing that you're supposed to understand, if you are multiplying here, we're now involving powers, because multiplication and division deals with is either the accumulation of powers or the decreasing of powers. So in this stage, you are supposed to understand that any number or any variable on its own is already to the power 1. But now if we are multiplying, it means we are now increasing those powers. So in this case, it's 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Then x times x. Bear in mind, as I said, we already have powers. We just take this single x. Then you now say, here there is a 1, and there is a 1. So 1 plus 1 is what? Is 2. Then times this y, we just take it as it is. This is your answer. This is your first answer. Then the second example, number 2, we've got 3x squared y cubed times 7xy. Fine. So it's equal to 3 times 7, we're going to have 21. Then this is x squared times this x. So as I said, guys, it's not necessary for us to put down this one, but you just have to bear it in mind that we've got a 1 there. So since we are multiplying, we are going to add our power. So in this case, it's 2 plus this one that is already there. So we are going to have x cubed. Then y cubed times y, is we are going to add that 1 there. So it's now 3 plus 1. We're going to have y to the power 4. That is your answer. So that's the concept with multiplication. We don't have to consider it's either like terms or whatsoever. We take all those terms and put them together. So that's the concept with multiplication. So let me take you to the other concept for division. The other concept for division. So based on division, we also consider what is divisible by our factors that we are using. So for instance, we might have 27x squared y divided by 9m x. Fine. At this stage, what you are supposed to understand with division, we have to use this other division format in order for you to appreciate these two concepts. So whenever if you come across a question structured like this, restructure the question and arrange it in this format is equals to 27x squared y divided by 9mx. This form of structuring your answer will make it more simpler for you to easily divide and easily denote how your answer is going to be structured like. So in this case, it's going to be 9 into 9, here it's 1, 9 into 27, here is 3. Fine, as we do these divisions, we are supposed to be subtracting our powers. As you know, division is the opposite of what? Multiplication. So it's the opposite of what we were doing with those powers while we were multiplying. So in this case, we are going to be subtracting powers of similar variables. So at this stage, we have x to the power 2 and x to the power 1. So we are going to say this is 2 minus 1. It means we are going to totally cancel this one out and cancel that 2 out because we had already said 2 minus 1 there. Then considering this y and this m, there's no more working that we can still do further. So we're going to take it as it is. So our answer is going to be, this is our numerator, this is our denominator. So our denominator was 9mx, but after we have divided all, we are left with m. Then our numerator was 27x squared y, but after we have divided everything, we are left with 3xy. So is equal to 3xy all over m. This is your answer. This will be your final answer. So try to appreciate these concepts, guys, as I have alluded them to you. So this was our topic based on coefficients and variables. I think it's clear for now. We can still do practice on other various concepts. Bear in mind, this is the introduction to O-level mathematics. So our next topic that we are going to look on is expansion. That is the first topic that you are going to do, and that is a typical examination topic that is always being set by most examiners. So thank you for your time, guys. We're going to meet on our next lesson. This is the end.